Okay. Here we go. Hang on to your wigs and keys, ladies and gentlemen. Our first guests are multiple Academy Award winners and two of the finest actors in cinema history, and they star in a new film entitled Little Fockers. Little Fockers, which opens December 22nd. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the new Siegfried and Roy, Robert De Niro and Dustin Hoffman. Okay. Thank you. We're out of time. Good to see you. Glad to have you both here. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Nice to see you.
See you.
Why is it you're here together?
We've both left our wives.
Well, I sure would like to help you both out, but Dustin Hoffman, of course, you've been here several times. We've gotten to know you over the years. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
It's the first time Mr. De Niro has been here. Thank you very much for being here. You know, we've been on the air for 30 years. Right now we're on CBS. We used to be on NBC. I live in your neighborhood, literally your neighborhood. We're neighbors, and this is your first time. And what have I done?
Oh, God, I don't know. I just, well, whatever. Dustin, he'll explain to you.
Oh, Dustin will explain. All right, Dustin, what's the story?
If you ask me the questions that you have designated for Bob, I can maybe answer.
You know, this is not a legal proceeding.
I am the De Niro whisperer.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I've seen you on other talk shows.
I have been, yeah, no, I have been on that. And we send little cards back to little jokes back.
Yeah, and I read them to the audience.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. And they say, well, that's great. How come he ain't here? You guys are close in age. I believe Mr. Hoffman is a little older than you. Is that about right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit older.
Yeah. Did you start in the same class in terms of actors, young actors working in New York?
I can say one thing, which I've done about 4 films with Bob, and it was only the last film. I guess it was Little Fockers. Yes, I pronounced it right. And suddenly we're in between takes, and Bob says to me, out of nowhere, which is his wont, he said, "You remember 1969 when you did Midnight Cowboy. And I said, I wasn't begging. And I said, yes, I remember doing that film. He says, do you remember the party afterwards? And I said, kind of, not really. He says it was on 2nd Avenue on like 34th Street or something. I said, really? How do you know? He said, I was your waiter.
Wow. Wow.
No, and actually what it was it was a thing for McCarthy.
Oh.
That time.
I got it wrong?
And it was the night that Bobby Kennedy was assassinated.
Wow. Wow. Well, he brought a good story down.
Well, Bob, I know you got a car waiting.
Sorry.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, sadly enough, but, you know, that's, sadly it is our lives. And you talk about Robert Duvall and Gene Hackman. Were you in that group as well? No, not you, him. I'm talking to me. Yeah, he was not in that group.
He was almost a generation younger. He will never stop.
Yeah. And the first film that you guys worked together on was, what was it, Wag the Dog? Wag the Tail?
No, it was Sleepers.
Sleepers,
yeah.
Sleepers.
Who else was in the film?
Brad Pitt.
Brad was in it?
Was he in it?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, he was in it.
How long have you guys been married? Oh, man. Oh, gosh. In terms of the work you do, acting, similar styles of preparation, different styles of preparation?
Bob?
I think, you know, everybody has their own way of working, and Dustin and I probably have ways that are very similar and ways that aren't, you know, and depends on, you know, what the part is.
Okay, Bob, 5 points. Over to you, Dustin. Let me ask you a question. Almost to a man, every actor that we have on cites Marlon Brando as a big influence. The same for both of you guys?
Yeah, Brando was great. Brando, to me, was James Dean, Montgomery Clift, Geraldine Page, Kim Stanley.
What about James Dean? When I see a movie, he was in the movie adaptation of East of Eden. I couldn't hardly wait for James Dean to come into a scene because he would come in and just go to work on the scene, and you were surprised that the set was still standing when he was done. I mean, he was acting upside down. What about that was groundbreaking? What about that was instrumental in forming the way actors behaved after that?
Bob?
I can't answer that. I'm going to let you answer that. Who's it on?
I mean, when you see it now, at the time, I'm sure it was groundbreaking. When you see it now, it doesn't seem to have withstood the test of time. James Dean in that particular film.
He does not withstand the test?
James Dean, to my eye, is not timeless in his role in East of Eden.
Are you going to feel the same way about us in 20 years?
Well, not both of you. Oh, God. Oh, man.
It's an appropriate...
Hey, we're having some fun now, aren't we?
It's an this is an appropriate time for me to say that's why this man's been doing this for 28 years.
Yeah, I do. We'll be right back with Robert De Niro and Dustin Hoffman, ladies and gentlemen. De Niro and Dustin Hoffman. Do you guys, looking at young actors today, anybody stand out as a favorite of yours in particular, men or women?
Yes.
Who do you like?
I love that gal. I always get names wrong. Amy Adams.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that resounding an applause for her?
Oh, she's good.
Yeah.
And Robert, anybody that you were fond of?
Well, Amy Adams is terrific. I saw this movie, The Fighter. She's terrific in it. And
that's the new Marky Mark film?
Yeah.
It's not his name, Mark
Wahlberg.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Do you guys get to see a lot of films, or are you always too busy making your own films?
Well, we get the screeners, you know, we get those, they send them out now for Academy consideration. We were just talking before the show. We really haven't seen many of them yet.
Let's do this. I have selected filmographies for both of you, and I just remember that when I saw Bang the Drum Slowly, I thought, holy cow, look out, this is something. That was a tremendous film. I know. Same can be said for The Graduate. The Graduate. Robert, did you see Midnight Cowboy when it first came out?
Yeah.
What were your reactions to that?
He could do it better.
No, it was a terrific movie. Dustin was terrific in it, and John Voight.
Yeah. Taxi Driver. Dustin? What did you think of Taxi Driver, Dustin?
Sorry?
He didn't see it.
Did you see Taxi Driver?
Yes.
What did you think of that?
The honest is that this guy came up to see me. I had my first office in New York. It was not that long after The Graduate. He was a little guy. He said his name was Marty Scorsese. And he started talking to me about this thing, about a taxi driver. I didn't know what he was talking about. There was no script. He was going on and on and on and on, talking a mile a minute. And after he left, I said, who is that guy?
Yeah.
And I think he may have been asking about me for it because he's probably trying to raise the money for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
for that role, you drove a cab for a month or so.
Well, a few weeks.
A few weeks, yeah. Was that, what did that do to you? Was that useful in the film?
Well, it was a good thing to do. It wasn't necessary at the end of the day, but it was something I wanted to do.
Right, right. Fair enough, fair enough. That's fine. Don't let them, don't worry about them. No. Have you two been offered the same parts and one will take it and after one has turned it down? Does that happen with the two of you, or you're different types that it doesn't happen so much?
Strangely enough, it happens.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah. Actually, they came up to me for Raging Bull at one point. That the guy, what's his name, Jake LaMotta, came walking. I said, you can't be serious about thinking.
Yeah, I know for a fact they weren't.
You see how loyal Bob is to me? He didn't smile at me.
But I know you have difficulty with compliments and praise for your work. But Raging Bull, I mean, my God, I thought that was. To my untrained experience, I thought that here's a movie in many, many ways had changed the experience of going to see a film.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. I saw that film with my wife in L.A., and after it was over, we snuck out to go down the alley so we wouldn't get bothered. And I just started crying.
Yeah.
And she said, "Why are you crying?" She said, "The ending, was it emotional? Was that it?" I says, "No, it's just the work is extraordinary."
That's right. Exactly right. Now here's a real talk show movie actor question. People that you want to work with, you have not been able to work with, because I'm looking here at Papillon, Steve McQueen. I mean, just to work with Steve McQueen, are there other people in that category that you have not had a chance to work with?
Well, you know, Bob had an opportunity to work with Brando, and I never did, and he was the icon for both of us, even though he's much younger than me. But yes, I think I read in an interview recently that Bob gave, if they quoted you accurately, because he said with Brando, no matter what choice he made, even if it didn't work, it was interesting. He really tilted the axis, I think, in terms of what acting was all about.
Right. Well,
and I think that's what Raging Bull did also.
Yeah. Well, that brings up an interesting point. As a person who goes to movies and sees movies and stuff, oftentimes the actor is such a star that he doesn't disappear into the role, and that's just fine because you like the guy, you like the man, you like the woman in the part. Or other great acting performances where that person does disappear in the role. But either way, it's a valid experience, right, for the viewer.
Bob?
Yeah, I would say so.
To be fair, when you're not a known actor, it's very easy. It's easier to disappear into the role if the audience is
well, that's right.
For a number.
That's right. But the opposite, nonetheless, satisfying. You know what I mean? Like I can look at a John Wayne film. It's John Wayne. I don't care who he's playing. It's always John Wayne, and that's okay because everybody loves John Wayne. But you guys are subsumed. You guys are subsumed by the material.
Subsumed? You know,
yeah.
What is subsumed?
Okay.
Sort of somehow consumed something.
Yeah, talk it over and get back to me, will you? Oh man, I mean the two of you right here. I just looked down. There's Goodfellas. Oh my God, just unbelievable. Casino. And you're doing more comedies now, Robert, than before. Although you've done a few in your lifetime, right? But doing more, seems more here recently. And you're very good, very funny in the Little Fockers movie.
Thank you.
You must enjoy the comedy, right?
I have fun doing it. I have fun doing them. They're enjoyable. They're things you can do in a comedy that you can't do in a
Some people say that
drama.
comedy is harder than drama. Do you find that to be true?
Well, certain comedy probably is harder. That wouldn't be easy for me to do, but that is fun for me to do.
Yeah. And are you always thinking about the next project? Do you always have something in mind that you're working on, or are you always looking for material?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have something going on now?
I have a few things going on, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Dustin, do you have a few things going on?
Not as much as Bob.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's take a...
Don't give up on us.
Oh, my God, Rain Man. You know, you just go back and forth here. The Godfather Part 2. Holy moly. You know, it would be so nice, and I don't know if this is probably not possible, but you and your great peer group of actors get together in one big dynamite blockbuster movie and let Francis Ford Coppola or Martin Scorsese direct, and you know, then we'll have a conversation. Or the Coen brothers. Oh my God, how about those guys? Let the Coen brothers. Wouldn't that be a great project?
I'm doing a movie with Marty Scorsese, and Pacino's going to be in it, and Joe Pesci's going to be in it.
That leaves me with mixed feelings.
Yeah, now I feel bad, so I'm going to have to think of something for Dustin.
But you know, if I may ask you, Robert, when you were told, or when you got the part in The Godfather, and you're going to be, in a sense, the young Brando, was it a daunting thing for you? Did you go in like, oh, holy, what a...
No, I mean, I was very excited, obviously, but it was, and we went to Paramount and took a reel-to-reel old Sony tape recorder and played the scenes of Brando in the movie and filmed it there. And then I would study those.
Yeah. Are there movies on this list, hard to believe looking at the list, that make you wince a little bit, or not? Or does an actor not have that reaction to work that's been done?
Well, I'm sure Bob feels ambivalent about Ishtar.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't think he was in Ishtar. We'll be right back.
Be sure to catch Monday's Late Show with guests Jack Black and Marv Albert. We'll be right back.
Midnight Run. Charles Grodin is a tremendous actor, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is just great. You know, it's just like looking at, like being, boys. Am I going to have to separate you two?
No, I'm sorry.
It's like going into a candy store or looking at greatest hits stuff. Either side you think, oh, there's that one, and then there's this one. Marathon Man. Now, this one I heard a story about you, Dustin. Maybe you told this story. For a particular scene, you stayed up all night, 24 hours, getting ready for the scene, and Laurence Olivier saw you in that kind of rundown condition. And do you remember what he said to you about that?
And you do too.
Yeah, what did he say?
He said, why don't you try acting?
Oh, man.
But, you know, just to give myself a little defense, it was the days of Studio 54. You know, designer drugs before they were called designer.
Did you guys have you used drugs in your lives? Recreationally? I mean, there was a phase when you experimented or not, or... I mean, because we've seen how they can be the downfall. Okay, let's keep moving.
I mean, you have to be specific. Name the drug.
No, I'm not gonna. Oh, I can't stop looking at these movies. It's just phenomenal. I mean, if you wanted a great representation of American culture and the culture, the art of motion picture making, you should just send these out and let everybody take a look at these movies, and it shows you everything you need to know about the cinema in the United States. It's remarkable. Okay. Wow, Cape Fear. King of comedy. Shall we show a clip of the film, The Little Fockers? You want to see? I remember when you were in Tootsie, you told me that stage, you would be all dressed up as Tootsie.
Yes.
Tootsie, what's her last name? Tootsie, what was her?
Dorothy Michaels.
Dorothy Michaels, yeah.
Yes.
And they would bring people in to meet this woman, and,
yes.
and they didn't know it was you.
No, I could get the crew. Started with one guy would introduce me as Dorothy Michaels because the friend that he brought, the relative of the crew, didn't know what the movie was about, and the lighting was subdued enough so I would get away with it. And they would literally look me up and down and just say, "Where's Jessica Lange?" You know?
Yeah, yeah. What did that teach you about the experience of being a woman in America?
I think the first thing that I realized that it was much easier getting laid as a man.
Bob, I just want to say this is like jury duty. You won't have to be here for another 7 years. Okay, now Little Fockers, and boy, did this thing turn out to be a billion-dollar franchise. I mean, the last one of these made $200 million. This is going to be an enormous holiday hit. Did you know that going in? Probably not, right?
You're right.
Yeah. Let's see. Tell them what we're going to see here in this clip. Stop. What are we going to see here?
Bob?
I don't know. The clip. I guess it's one of the last scene, or
yeah.
I think it's the last scene of the movie, and we're celebrating.
Oh, you know who else is in this film? Is Barbra Streisand.
Barbara's in it, and because it's cross-cultural, it's Christian Judaic. It's called Hanukkah Christmas, or Hanukkah Christmas, or Christmas Hanukkah. I can't remember, right. But that's what the scene is. We're
take a look. Little Fockers opens December 22nd. There you go. Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman.